Let's talk about luck. Nothing in life is ever certain. Sometimes things just sorta happen and we have to deal with them. Because our small ape brains can't fully comprehend why things happen, we created the concept of luck. Luck is a way that we comprehend random chance and unexpected events. And sometimes luck can be fun, and game developers have found ways to put random chance into their games. Some of them are harmless, some of them are malicious, and some of them affect the games in ways that you'll never even notice unless you dig into the code. For fighting games though, luck is something that is rarely part of the equation, unless you're playing someone like Faust whose kit is designed around causing chaos with his random item toss. Generally, most fighting games try to remove random factors to create an even playing field for both competitors. You ever wonder why fighting game players will say that they're the purest form of competition? It's because there's virtually no luck factor. No team to play, no RNG to talk about, and modern games have very good balance so you can rarely blame the character. So if that's the case, why do we still hear people say, "You got lucky"? Is it just scrubs complaining that they lost? Yes, thank you all for watching. Is what I want to say, but in all honesty, there's something more going on here. While saying it when you lose is probably wrong, there's definitely more to luck than just using it as a scapegoat for your poor positioning in neutral. However, let's say that you're fighting a character that you've never fought against before and they hit you with an Oki mix-up. You have zero knowledge of this situation, so you have to do everyone's favorite part of fighting games, guess. So you guess and manage to get it right. Now, I'm sure that some people would push up their glasses and make an anime speech like,
"I knew you were going to land on the same side, because your breath halted for 0.2 nanoseconds, along with the wind changing directions at 7.f7 north per second east gave me a 75% possibility of them landing on the same side. Combining all of this with my lucky left cheek clenching meant it was guaranteed. Get red, scrub."
Most of us would agree that this guy got lucky. If we were to plot all of the skills that fighting games require on a radar chart, I'd argue that players' luck would be something that could be plotted and would actually be important to plot. What would the rest of the things be? That's a pretty bold claim though. Like, luck is something that you normally just can't measure. Life isn't an RPG where you can just dump all of your stats into luck and hope you get crits on every swing of your stick, right? In order for what I'm talking about to make sense, we're going to have to examine what I mean by luck and the different ways that it can be seen in fighting games, and how you've probably gotten lucky without even realizing it. Probably the biggest one we should talk about is with execution. As much as some people like to try and convince you otherwise, human beings aren't perfect, and under the right pressure in the right situation, they'll begin to show cracks and faults. Fighting games, in some aspects, is about making your opponent crack to show their weaknesses, and then ruthlessly exploiting that weakness while concealing your own and playing to your strengths. So how do you put your enemy into a situation where they're going to crack? You've got lots of different ways. You could play it patient at the back and allow them to open themselves up. You could rush them down and make it feel like there's no way out. You could hit them with a Potemkin buster. Basically anything that's able to take control away from them. Hell, there's stuff you could do outside of the game. You could scream at the top of your lungs whenever your enemy hits you right in their face. You could get your homies to chant and cheer whenever you hit the enemy. You could chat shit and taunt them IRL. You could ask someone who doesn't speak English if you can have the player one side in Grand Finals of EVO. Yes, I'm still salty about this one. Goichi had that! But what does this have to do with luck? Well, the more pressure that is on someone, the more they get angry and begin to panic, which can lead to a greater chance of execution errors. This is obviously good if your enemy's the one that's fucking up their inputs, because they could drop combos, but what if you're the one messing stuff up? Well, let's look at an example for this. You're playing Trunks and you're fighting against Super Broly. You manage to confirm a beam into vanish from across the screen. Neither of you have enough meter to do a reversal, so now you're in for a pure rock, paper, scissors situation on what Broly does. You think he's going to reflect, and you bet that if you do 236M, the startup will catch them on the recovery. Or you're just not thinking and decide to go for the funny sword move. You go for it, but you press M2 early and you get a 2M. Fuck. But wait, Broly backdashed, and your 2M caught them on their way back. So from your shitty execution, not only did you open up your enemy, but you hit them with a 2M starter that might be enough to finish the game. And I mean, are you really gonna complain? This is basically the best outcome in the scenario. Besides, you have most definitely got lucky while learning at some point and probably didn't even realize it. We all know that execution is something that you can endlessly master and refine. You wanna learn optimal combos? Go for it. You wanna master that 4-way setup? Grind that shit out.
Wanna learn how to do a fucking infinite?
Well, you have to practice and learn to keep the rhythm up. Ah! Well, here's the thing about fighting games. It's all good saying you gotta keep the rhythm up, but what exactly is the rhythm? Like, if you've done it before, you could probably tap it out, but if you haven't, you have to learn the right lengths between the pauses, and that's not as easy as it looks. While visual aids and somebody helping you out generally makes it easier, there's still a little bit of guesswork when it comes to figuring out the exact rhythm of a combo. I'm not implying that it's 100% luck, but with something like Makoto's SA2 stun combo that has a really tight timing requirement, especially with a dash input into DP after the critical art, it can be hard to figure out the timing. The first time you get it, you'll probably accidentally do it just a little bit too early or a little bit too late than what you thought it was going to be. It just turns out to be the perfect timing. So what else can you get lucky with? Just combos? Nah, bro. Sometimes your luck can find something completely new for some new-ass tech to exploit. So, let's talk about my favorite thing in the whole world, Giovanna, baby! So, Giovanna has an air super special, which leaves her at +5 when she hits you, if she hits you on the final frames of the attack, with it being neutral at worst. I think I'm eyeballing this shit right now. So, is there a way to consistently get the most amount of frame advantage from the move? Yes, you can TK the move by pressing up forward after the second quarter circle forward input. This also means that you have a way to get around low attacks if you see them coming, as it low crushes basically everything. How did I find this out? Well, one match in stream, I tried the input for a normal super and I fucked it up so badly I managed to get this, and it turns out to be an amazing tool if you use it correctly. I'm not implying that I found this tech, this is just how I figured it out. It's probably somewhere on the wiki, I just never thought to check. I'm sure there are many more examples of how luck has affected players in fighting games, but at the end of the day, it isn't the biggest factor when it comes to these games. Players spend thousands of hours, years of their life mastering and perfecting specific games and characters to avoid as much random occurrences as possible. While it is inevitable at some point, it's not something you'll have to deal with too often, unless you statistically try to play around it.
Item toss, baby! Don't leave just yet. I have things to say that are very important. I want to apologize for the shorter length of this video. I have kind of been moving, so things have been a bit harder to make, but I edited this entire thing in one day. So, if you want to yell at me about how bad the video was, or say thanks for making it, or just whatever, I'm streaming right now over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/GeckoScroll_live. I'm going to try and do more content in the future, and I've got some things in the pipeline right now that hopefully will work out. So, yep, thanks for watching. I'm sorry that this video wasn't best, but I had to get someone out, you know. Have a good night. Hopefully I'll see you on Twitch. If not, I'll see you whenever. Peace.